Hey there, I'm Christophe from the French Herbal. I'm in the beautiful Swiss Alps and you should see the yellow gentians flowering in the alpine meadows. It's so beautiful. So we're talking about a big icon of French herbalism. Huge, very long tradition of use over here, big in size, at least for the yellow gentian, which is a big plant, and big in health benefits. Unfortunately, Gentian has been reduced to a mere appetite and digestive stimulant. And you will see that it's a lot more. It's an exceptional plant when used properly. It keeps on giving when we're patient enough. Small doses, a long-term use. So stay with me, all the details are coming, because in this episode, I'd like to pay a tribute to that amazing lady of the Alps. I'll give you 3 major properties. Gentian can do a lot more, but I don't want to send you in too many directions, so I will insist upon its biggest potentials in my view. Then we'll talk about in what form and what quantities to take it. I will tell you how I have integrated Gentian in my habits, thanks to one of my good friends who lives in the Alps and got this great preparation from the locals. And I will finish with a change of mind that I had about Gentian, because I just didn't think it could work this way, but that will be toward the end of the episode. Okay, so let's start with the plant. It's a perennial that belongs to the Gentianaceae family. In France, we mostly use Gentiana lutea, the yellow flower gentian. In some regions, we also use Gentiana purpurea, which has reddish purple flowers. It's really beautiful. We also have blue gentians and other type of gentians. So please check your local flora to see which one is available around you, if any. And also very important, what can be picked, because in France, in some regions, gentian has the protected status. It's very precious and it's been over harvested in some regions. Unfortunately, we're seeing some of that in France due to the demand from the liquor industry. It can live more than 30 years, up to 50 years actually or more. So, you know, we have some very old plants that are producing seeds and contributing to the renewing of that precious resource. We don't touch those. Also, keep in mind that in some meadows, yellow gentian will grow alongside another plant called Veratrum album. It can be confused with Veratrum by the beginner. Be very careful because Veratrum is deadly, very toxic. We're going to use the roots of gentian and they're extremely bitter. So, you know, we can play the game of which plant is the most bitter. Is it Andrographis or bogbean or verbena or some other plants? It doesn't matter, because my oh my, gentian is darn bitter. We'll talk about preparations in a few minutes. First, the properties and indications. I'll start with a quote from a very well-known French herbal doctor who practiced in the beginning of the 1900s. His name is Henri Leclerc. And he said of gentian, he said, an old doctor claimed that based on his experience, taking a small piece of the roots each day was enough to reach a very old age in perfect health. Now, Leclerc was not to be fooled by baseless claims. You know, he was a very serious and experienced practitioner. So why did he repeat that sentence in one of his famous reference books? Well, here's my take. Because gentian acts at the foundations of health, which is digestion and immunity. And it even goes beyond that, acting at the core of vitality. But let's start with digestion. And even before that, let's start with the context. Today, if you're a practitioner or just a health aficionado, you have noticed that many people suffer from a wide range of digestive issues, right? And several factors contribute to this. First, a problematic diet, we know that. Also, a lifestyle marked by chronic stress, where we no longer take the time to eat mindfully, we work too much, we worry too much, and stress is one of the main inhibitors of digestive functions. Stress slows down the whole digestive process. So you feel like you have a brick in your stomach when you eat under stress. We also have a striking paradox today. We've never eaten so much in terms of quantity, in terms of calories, and yet we've never been so depleted, so starved in micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, etc. The return to health must therefore begin with renutrition, which requires both a serious reassessment of our dietary habits, as you know, and a reactivation of our digestive functions. And this is where Gentian will shine. Because Gentian is a digestive tonic, and at the root of its action lies bitterness. And we call those plants bitter tonics. And they're very precious in our practices. When a bitter substance gets in contact with our taste buds, a message is sent to the brain, then to all of our digestive organs. And the message is pretty simple: wake up. The bitter substance has to be tasted first if we want the full effect. Now, the plant will also work if you take the powdered roots in capsule, for instance, therefore bypassing the taste buds, because we also have bitter receptors all over the digestive tract. But not as well. It won't work as well. You need to taste the bitterness if you want to take advantage of its full power. From the mouth, bitterness will trigger salivation. And let's not forget that digestion starts in the mouth, and abundant saliva is essential for this phase. Then bitterness promotes the production of digestive juices, hydrochloric acid and pepsin in the stomach, digestive enzymes from the pancreas and the intestinal lining, bile from the liver and the gallbladder, bile being so important to emulsify fats before we can digest them. Bitterness will enhance the contraction of the smooth muscles that line the digestive tract. So actually the plant will stimulate both the chemical and mechanical digestive processes. And frankly, few plants will act so effectively across all of these pathways. In the past, Gentian was traditionally used in France for long convalescence, when the person was exhausted and had very little appetite. And even if hunger returned, the digestive system had not yet recovered from the illness. So the person had trouble digesting complex foods. So Gentian came to the rescue, boosting appetite and digestive capacities so that the sick person could recover faster. Today, I use it often whenever there is digestive deficiency, which can show in the form of stagnation of food, fermentation, bloating, acid reflux due to stomach stagnation. It's pretty much the base of my digestive protocols, usually in the form of a tincture before meals. And that is very important. It needs to be taken before meals. And then I will often add a tea blend to drink in small quantities after the meal to help with the cramping and the bloating. The combination of Gentian tincture before meals and a concentrated digestive tea upon digestion is usually very good start to get relief. Well, and in the tea, many choices possible, from fennel or anise seeds to peppermint, rosemary, maybe a bit of licorice if there is inflammation and no contraindication, etc., etc. Gentian can be taken, and often should be taken, during several months for chronic, long-standing digestive conditions. Small doses, right? 20 to 30 drops of the tincture in a small quantity of water, 10 minutes before each meal. And then the digestive tract will gradually regain its capacities, its fire, and the person can shift into a renutrition mode if the food is nourishing, of course. Very good combination with angelica or ginger, or both. You could take a blend of 20 drops Gentian root tincture, 20 drops ginger root tincture, and 10 drops angelica tincture, for instance. That's a very nice blend. Ginger in the blend will improve gastric emptying. Angelica will act as an overall digestive tonic. And we'll talk about those plants in future episodes. Now, something people don't usually associate with Gentian, the nervous system. And that's quite interesting. Here is how I see it. Gentian is a major parasympathetic stimulant. It brings us back to our guts. And you probably know this dance, this equilibrium between the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. If one dominates, and today most of the time it's the fight or flight response, right? So the sympathetic nervous system usually dominates. When that happens, you can either calm the one that is excessive, or you can stimulate the one that is deficient. And today, most of the time, we're into sympathetic excess and parasympathetic deficiency. And to calm the sympathetic excess, to lower this overactive stress response, well, we usually push that one down via relaxing and calming herbs. There's something that is less known and less used. You can actually stimulate the rest and digest response, which is the parasympathetic nervous system. So here with Gentian, we will bring the energy back to the guts. So we will stimulate the parasympathetic, therefore indirectly calming the sympathetic excess. I don't know if you managed to follow my reasoning, but what I'm saying is that by bringing us back down into our guts, Gentian gets us out of our heads a bit, from the place where there's too much rambling about the past and doom prediction about the future. So Gentian is kind of cooling to the nervous system, right? Bitterness, back to the guts, back to earth, out of our heads. Another interesting point, kind of related, over here in France, Gentian is sometimes positioned as an antidepressant herb. And it's true that some studies show that Gentian acts as a monoamine oxidase inhibitor, which may promote higher serotonin levels in the brain environment. And this action would be similar to that of certain antidepressant medication. I know this is oversimplistic. As we know, depression is not simply a matter of low serotonin levels, agreed. But that action, coupled with the bringing us back to our guts, could be interesting in the context of mild to moderate depression with low appetite and digestive stagnation. Another interesting point is the fact that Gentian in the digestive deficient person will help to better extract certain amino acids like tryptophan that are essential to make serotonin and melatonin. And this requires strong gastric and pancreatic activity, therefore Gentian. Overall, I would say that today we're just starting to understand this amazing dance between the central nervous system and the enteric nervous system. Right? The two are in constant communication. When the enteric system is underfunctioning or impaired or suffering, the central nervous system will inevitably be affected. So Gentian could help here. Finally, let's talk about immunity. And this may surprise you because this property is not really known to the general public. And let's go back to our good Dr. Leclerc, who wrote that Gentian is capable of supporting the body's defenses by increasing the number of white blood cells, therefore indicated in all kinds of weaknesses, debility following illness, convalescence, etc., etc. And when you think about it, it's actually not that surprising. 70 to 80% of the immune system is located around the guts. This is what we call the gut-associated lymphoid tissue, known as GALT. I believe Gentian could calm the immune provocation that is caused by poorly digested proteins and peptides that are passing through a chronically inflamed intestinal mucosa. So Gentian may give a much-needed relief to an overstimulated gut immune system due to poor protein digestion and intestinal hyperpermeability. Because undigested proteins are not supposed to end up in the portal circulation, right? The immune system will constantly react to that intruder, right? So Gentian may help from that perspective. That's quite interesting. Now, I don't have enough data to confirm this immune property in my practice, because probably just like you, I will reach for my echinacea or black elder or astragalus or reishi for low immunity. So as practitioners, be it in a family or professional context, I think it would be quite interesting to observe and see if we could confirm that effect, right? If the person who's taking Gentian for digestive issues also has low immunity, are we seeing progress on both fronts? I'd like to know. Now, how do you take Gentian? Well, in the old days in France, the decoction of the roots was used. And holy cow, forget about it. I mean, I love my bitters, but sorry, no. I mean, you can try though, if you're curious. Dr. Jean Valnet, another one of our famous French herbal doctor, recommended 30 grams, so about an ounce, of the dried roots cut in small pieces, left overnight to infuse in 1 liter of water, so about a quart. And Valnet said to boil it for 2 minutes, then let it sit covered overnight. And then you take 1 small cup of this brew before each meal. Hey, if you're a bit adventurous, give it a shot, but again, sorry, nope. My favorite form, the one I recommend the most to my clients in my private practice, is a tincture of the roots. You can tincture the fresh roots if you have strong alcohol, or you can tincture the dried roots if you have 40 to 50% alcohol. And then about 20 to 30 drops in a bit of cold water. You take it in small sips, you swish it around the mouth to feel the bitterness and swallow. Ideally, you do that 10 minutes before each meal. As I said, I may combine it with ginger, angelica, other plants as needed, but Gentian alone will do the job. No sugar, no lemon juice, nothing to cut the bitterness, right? Here in France, we want the person to fully feel the bitterness. Can you take Gentian in a bitter cordial or other type of social drink with friends? Yeah, sure. Let's have a bit of fun too, but not bitter enough. If you want Gentian as a medicinal plant, you have to go for the full bitterness. If there is a long-standing chronic digestive deficiency, Gentian can be taken for months and months, as needed, until the person feels better. And yes, you can balance the energetics if you practice in that model. You know, Gentian being very bitter, therefore very cold, and requiring some warmth in the long run. Ginger being the perfect pairing in my view, or orange peel, or aromatic plants like rosemary. Gentian capsules or tablets can be used. It will still work, not as well as the form that forces you to fully taste the bitterness in your mouth, but it will work too, so let us not throw that option in the trash. Yeah, it's kind of a shame, but when you work with people with certain types of constraints, well, sometimes you have to make compromises. Okay, now, how do I take Gentian? Well, I prepare what I call Gentian water. And I got this from my good friend, Guillaume. So Guillaume, if you listen to this, man, you're now visible in the Anglo-speaking world. So Guillaume, who lives over here in the Alps, the Mecca of Gentian, went to find some old folks doing hard manual labor when they were young. And they said that when they felt weak or tired, or when they had a drinking party in the forthcoming night, they would put a few small chunks of dried Gentian root, about 2 or 3 chunks, in a liter of cold water. Let it sit overnight and drink it during the day. And I have done this preparation many times now. I have started to recommend it to some of my clients as well. The feedback is positive. And me, with my past of overexcited and hot-tempered guy, I need my bitters. It does me good. So I use 3 chunks of dried Gentian roots. I put it in my bottle. I pour 1 liter of cold water, let it sit overnight. I drink it the next day throughout the day, not in one shot, throughout the day. It has to be bitter but drinkable. If it's too bitter for your taste buds, then start with 2 or even 1 chunk per liter, right? Go slow. Then in the evening, my bottle is empty, I will pour another liter on the same roots. I will drink it the next day. It is still bitter. Then I will do it one more time with the same chunks. So 3 chunks will last me 3 days, 1 liter per day. And I may do this for a few weeks. I love it. It's good for my digestion, for my nervous system, and for my overall vitality. Now, the usual contraindication and precautions. Gentian is contraindicated if you have active gastric or duodenal ulcers because it will stimulate gastric acid and pepsin production. And if the mucosa is ulcerated, well, it's not a good idea, right? Heal the mucosa first with your calendula, chamomile, licorice, etc. And then use Gentian to prevent reoccurrence, right? To strengthen the stomach, to have good acidity and prevent the infamous Helicobacter bacteria from settling in. We have no data for Gentian during pregnancy, so we don't know if it's safe, therefore contraindicated due to insufficient data. In breastfeeding, same, not enough data, plus the fact that the bitter constituents will pass into breast milk, which will alter the taste of milk and may disrupt breastfeeding, right? You can imagine the baby making the well-known bitter face. In terms of side effects, well, in very rare cases, you may see bloating, loose stools, stomach cramps, nausea, headaches. It's been reported in the past, but most of the time, if used wisely, Gentian will help to solve those problems actually, right? But once in a while, it may trigger those issues in the sensitive person. Okay, now my big change of mind. Gentian is a bitter tonic, right? We talked about it. It stimulates digestion, assimilation of nutrients. It has a strong reputation here in France, as well as a general tonic when you are tired and your vitality is down in the drain. And you see, I thought it worked mostly through better nutrition. I thought this is mostly a digestive plant. A great one of the best we have for sure, but I thought it would bring back vitality via better assimilation of nutrients. And I have changed my mind on that. I now believe it is indeed a general, non-specific tonic, working, I don't know how exactly, but with a direct effect on vitality as well. Even if you digest perfectly well, right? If you're run down and tired, you may want to add Gentian to your core protocol. With other plants, sure, it plays well with adaptogens, but don't forget that tall, beautiful lady of the Alps. Thanks for listening. I will see you soon for the next episode of The French Herbal.